Hey guys, I'm Randy, this is
Krystle.
And we've been investing for about 12 years. This is our newest property here in Welland. This is 136 Beatrice
Street.
First question was about the parking. Do you guys want to share what you had to go through for the parking on this property?
Yeah, so this place required a variance permit. So usually if you're building a second suite and we're building into the garage, that would require us to ask the city for a variance. Usually with the second suite, they want tandem parking, so front and back parking. But we had to apply to ask them to do side-by-side parking since we're going to make a living space in the garage. And that took a while. That took like a couple months just to get that approved. If it didn't get approved, then we would have just sold the property, yeah. We found the city is really easy to work with in terms of the inspection process. The inspectors are, for the most part, pretty easygoing. So I think that's why we chose Welland and Koukun here. We got this actually as an assignment, so it wasn't even on the market. It was a previous client of his had bought it, and we didn't have to go out searching. He already had the deal, and he just they assigned it over to us. So that process was super easy. We didn't have to pay an assignment fee or anything. I mean, he knows this market, and I mean, we're from Mississauga too, so we just put our full trust in him, and yeah, like it's already done pretty well for it just sitting here for the past few months. So we're really happy about this purchase. I think with all purchases, we're always nervous, and we don't know, what's going to happen. But real estate, has always,
Good performer.
Been rewarding. Yeah, for sure. How do we finance? I feel like as soon as we bought our first one, it was like. Our first one was in Hamilton. It was in the industrial area.
Well, we first started with a condo. We started with a condo downtown Toronto before we tried wholesaling in Hamilton, in the industrial area. Once we had that one in our possession, it was just a matter of time with equity build. We purchased our own property, our personal residence. Took a slight break. That was also a fixer-upper, and the equity shot up there as well. And for the financing, we were just borrowing from the equity of whatever we had.
Yeah, it's like as soon as you buy that first one, it's like that builds up equity. You borrow from that to buy your next one, and then your next one, and your next one. And I guess when you look back, you're just like, how did this even happen? Because your first one, you're kind of like, I don't know if this is even gonna work. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm just gonna do it because everyone says, real estate is pretty good, and that's how you grow your wealth. And I think, when you look back now, you're like, wow, this actually worked. When you're going through this journey, it's I found
it's a learning process.
So superficial. We're kind of like, oh, let's make the money, and now it's more like
we were looking for turnkey. In the initial first stage, about the first 10 years, we're looking for turnkey properties. Just buy, turn around, rent, and that was it, and try and cash flow. And it wasn't until recent times, I want to say 2 years, where we started doing this. We're just buying single families and converting them into legalized duplexes, and that's where we really saw equity just shooting up, higher cash flows, and it was just, yeah, it's definitely been a trial and error process for the first 10 years, and then now here we are with a better strategy that's currently working. Yeah, we're definitely not the first ones to do it. We already knew stories, and we had
Koukun. He's
we
our
had good recommendations.
duplex conversion guy, so he knows the requirements from the city. Then he also works with Jordan, the architect, that even if before you put in an offer, you want to confirm some things. With the variance with us, we wanted to make sure, at least
good high chance.
A high chance that this can get approved. And so yeah, we just had a really good team.
All right, we're gonna head on inside, and Randy's gonna share some of the construction side of things.
There's now standing what formerly was the garage, now going to be the main living space. Window was already existing, we didn't put that in. Here will be the kitchen, L-shaped. This used to be a door to the garage from the basement. We opened it up just to allow into the unit. So the unit, the bedrooms and bathrooms and everything else is right this way. So yeah, this used to be kitchen and living. Now going to be the master bedroom. I've added a large closet in this area, which used to be the kitchen, and we put a powder room. So now this master bedroom will have an ensuite as well. It used to be a 1-bedroom, 1-bath down here, plus that garage. So now we've managed to turn it into a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath.
So Randy, I think something maybe you guys are wondering, is Randy a contractor? Is he hiring trades to do all of this himself?
So no, I'm not a contractor. I do have some experience. Krystle and I, we have done flips where I actually did do the work myself, but again, not a licensed contractor. So it was actually very difficult for me to actually hire someone to do the work for me. So I do have some experience in, framing and actually doing drawings. But in this case, because I live so far, I got a contractor to handle all this.
So he's working with one of our general contractors, so he's involved in the process, the design with our architect, but you're not here every day managing trades, making sure everything's done. You do come to check on the work. That is part of the role as an investor. Even if you hire a general contractor, ultimately it's your property. You're the one who's going to care about it the most. So you do need to check on it. I recommend once a week, once every 2 weeks when you have a project going. But you don't need to manage it all yourself. And I would almost recommend not trying to do that unless you have some experience in construction, some desire to do that. If you have the ability to manage trades, you've done it before, you will save a lot of money in the process, right? And maybe have more control over the process. But you need to really ask yourself, are you the person who can do it well? And do you have the desire to do it? And if the answer to both is yes, I think that's right for you.
If you did it yourself, what are you saving?
I think it really depends, but I think from my personal perspective, I feel like in the beginning I was such a micromanager where it's just like, oh, I want this to go my way, and it's like, wait, what? This isn't supposed to be like this, and I want to. But then as you go through the process, you find that you're just feeling burnt out because we not only have the full-time jobs, we not only have our kids. It's like we got ourselves to look after too, and at the same time we want to keep buying properties, right? So I think
You can't really put a price on that.
yeah, it's like the sanity, everything. It's like, even if I have to pay an extra 20, 50, I'm happy if I have my sanity. I've actually stopped going with him to the construction part of it like this and just let him do it while I okay, I'll just pick the finishes at the end,
Yeah, when we're done, we're gonna refi the place. Get it all set up, get it rented, we're gonna refi, and we're gonna try to get all our invested money back. Hopefully you try to get 100%. If we leave some money in the deal, we leave some money in the deal, it's no big deal. What we're really trying to do is get as many duplexes, triplexes, whatever we can get. We're trying to grow our portfolio, and we're just recycling our initial investment over and over. So when we do the refi, pay back our debt, then execute. We just pull that debt again, we just recycle that into another property and just collecting properties as we go. That's what we've been doing. It's just every year we're getting 1 or 2. Not always going to cash flow at the end, but sometimes that's the reality. Within the first 1 to 3 years, you're not really making that money, but you eventually do. Right? It's like building a business. You're just trying to get off the ground. And those first couple of years, sometimes you may or may not be, making a profit, but you stick with it, eventually you are, and we've enjoyed it for the last 12 years. We have a few that we manage still, and we have property managing these multi-units. They're just better because I find with the multi-units, it's more about managing the people than the property, because we're doing the full reno. The house is good when we're done. You got people sharing the property, and when you have 2 people, 3 people sharing one place, it's more of a managing the people. So we prefer hiring out for that, and they do a good job. I think the financing makes it tricky if you have it under an LLC. So you want to keep it personal. If you're going to be refining, you're going to be using that equity to purchase more. So that's why we're in the building stage, amassing our portfolio. So it just doesn't make sense just yet.
Yeah, for the most part, most people either look at it for liability or they think they can get some tax savings. For the most part, you can't with long-term rentals. It's considered passive income in a company, so it's not taxed at the small business rate, it's taxed at the passive income rate, which is 53%. Now you can depreciate the property, but you can do that anyways, whether it's incorporated or not. If you're starting, I would just not even think about it. The only exception to that is if you run a small business that is already incorporated. You have retained earnings in that business, and you want to invest that retained earnings into a property without taking it out personally and paying income tax on it. That is the one situation where it makes sense to incorporate immediately. Buy the property through the company, but like Randy said, it's another layer of complexity that I don't think adds value in the beginning. I have 3 corporations that are owned personally with partners that own rental property, and looking back, I would have waited a lot longer to incorporate because it would have just made my life easier. All right, why don't we head on upstairs, check out the upstairs.
Didn't do too much here. I'm just increasing the kitchen size, making better. I'm just obviously making it much more functional. This was a 2-bedroom, 1 full bath, and with its own separate laundry. What I'm achieving here is I'm moving the laundry, making them stackable, and I'm, just basically relocated it so that it allows me to get a second bathroom. Not a full bathroom, it'll be another powder room. So this will be a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath with its own laundry. This is currently the kitchen and living and dining space.
Not every property has the opportunity to add a second sort of washroom, but if you can, it really differentiates you from what's on the rental market because there's not a lot of rentals with more than 1 washroom. Most apartments have 1 washroom, most even duplexes have 1 washroom. So if you have the space and the ability to put a second washroom, for someone who doesn't need 3 bedrooms, they may prefer a 2-bed, 1.5 washroom.
Typically you'll find a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and I preferred the 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath. And my property manager finds that the 2 bedrooms, those 2-bedroom units usually fly off the shelf quicker than the 3 bedrooms do in the market when you put them for rent. So I was happy about that. A typical house like this would typically have 3 bedrooms, 1 baths up here, but I opted out just for the extra bathroom and more livable space for a 2-bedroom. I just think there's more value that way. Cool.
Not every investor is as hands-on as Randy and Krystle. So some of our investors will buy the property, ask Jordan, our architect, measure it, give us the best layout, take the layout, go to the contract and be like, price this out, and then just let them choose the finishes, let them choose everything, right? If you want to be really hands-on. If you want to be hands-on, then you get to put your own touch to it, you make some more decisions, but it's really up to you how involved you want to be. Right, so when they do the drawings, it includes all the requirements that the contractor needs to meet for the city to approve it. Right, so you don't need to memorize it or learn it. It's going to be in this package that you then give to your contractor.
Well, I think it's about 150, and there's always give or take. It's usually give, right? But yeah, we got it at 150. We're doing this for about 150. This particular contractor throws everything in. And then if we want to upgrade the finishes, so obviously he charges us more. The initial quote's pretty simple. It's just how much and for what you want to do. And he just tries to do it his way so that he makes that profit, right? So.